Scott, Republican of South Carolina. So over the weekend, there were more documents found. You're shaking your head. I'm assuming that you're imagining what would happen to you or to one of your staffers who mishandled classified information.
Absolutely. Well, first thing we should think, Dana, how obnoxious are they really? The truth is that they suppressed the information before the election so that it would not have impact during the election. That sounds like a little bit of engineering from my perspective. And the second thing is the stench of hypocrisy coming from this administration is making the American people sick. It's one of the reasons why we have so little confidence in this administration and in government overall. I can't imagine this double standard in the justice system being applied on MLK Day to black folks versus white folks. Can you imagine how this administration continues to treat their friends and themselves versus President Trump or their adversaries? We can't have a two-tiered justice system in America.
Someone you know well, Trey Gowdy, now used to be a colleague of yours, now a colleague of ours,
yes,
talked about this last night from a federal prosecutor level, just applying logic to the situation. Listen here.
Do not be misled. The media wants to focus on the differences and ignore the glaring similarity. The question is whether those differences matter, legally or factually. Do the distinctions make a difference? It'd be nice if politics did not minimize the conduct of friends while maximizing the conduct of opponents.
Let me get your thought there, and whether you do think, any reaction to Fox being told by the White House that there are no visitor logs at the private residence in Wilmington at the Biden's home.
The national media would have lost their minds had the name been Trump and not Biden on the logs. Can you imagine what Trey just said? Minimizing the consequences for your friends and maximizing the consequence for your enemies or for your political opponents. That is a clear statement and why I said we can't have a two-tiered justice system. It just doesn't work. And what we're seeing today is a loss of trust in the American government because Americans want one justice system that is fair, and the president of this United States is not providing that. He is picking and choosing winners and losers based on what side of the aisle you're on.
Just to be clear, I'm not sure if visitor logs exist at former President Trump's residents as well. I would need to check on that just to make clear for everybody. There are, as we saw, there are Democrats who are blasting this decision as well. We'll see where it goes. It is a holiday today. I don't know if there will be a White House briefing. No doubt there will be questions sent to the White House press office. We'll see if any are answered. But I would like to spend a little bit of time with you to get your reflections today on Martin Luther King Day. Last year, I read your book, which was so good and so moving. And you talk about how you still believe and the wonderful big hope and dreams of America. Do you feel that way today? What would you say to people who are remarking on the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr.?
Well, Dana, the first thing I'd say to our listeners today and our viewers today is to be very proud of your country. Be even more proud of the progress that your country has made in the last 50 years. Think about the dream and the speech itself. He said, all of God's children will one day join hands and sing with new meaning, my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. We are living that part of the dream. Black people and white people today are joining hands and living the American dream. That is a blessing from God upon high. It is something that should encourage us to move into the future with hope and optimism and a resolve to continue to make progress on the dream. Here's what we need to be doing today. We should be talking about opportunity and not equity. We should be focusing our attention on the quality of the education in the poorest zip codes in this country, because education is the civil rights issue of our era. In 2023, it's not the color of your skin, it's how well you are educated. That will make the difference in your life.
Maybe one last question then on a specific question. The education in this country across the board, in many places, it is suffering. And American children are not being taught what they need in order to compete in the future, to be in a position to take advantage of the opportunities afforded to them. So as a last question, what is something you think can happen this year from your perspective in the Senate that could make a big difference for kids and their parents in education?
The Biden administration has decided to stop allowing charter schools to grow across this country. Having charter schools grow across this country is what we need. I brought Success Academy kids to the New York Stock Exchange on this past Friday to ring the closing bell. Those kids are outperforming kids throughout the state because they have quality education. Charter schools, by and large, work. We need more, not less. And the Biden administration has decided to turn charter schools down.
Well, as this Congress gets going, we'll see how that debate heats up. And thank you, Senator Tim Scott, for joining us this morning. Have a great day.